This video demonstration is designed to help users navigate the insights for ArcGIS visualization dashboard for the income balance ratio IBR. The visualization windows are referred to as cards. There are 8 cards altogether, including the statewide census tract map. Every card is linked to every other card. Hovering the cursor over each bar reveals the number of census tracts that will fall within that interval of data or data values. More than one bar can be clicked or filtered at the same time by holding down the Control key and clicking multiple bars. On the far left side of the dashboard is a list of variables. There are a total of 120 variables, the majority of which are the Healthy Places Index, HPI variables. Any of these variables could be turned into a card. The how-to of card creation will be demonstrated at the end. The bar chart with 5 bars represents the 5 categories of income balance ratio or IBR, starting from substantial high income predominance to moderate high income predominance, all the way down to substantial low income predominance. Clicking one of the 5 bars or classes of bar chart filters census tracts that fall in that category. For example, census tracts that are in the high income predominance category or census tracts in the low income predominance category. Clicking the same object twice returns all cards to the statewide level. By default, when you create insights cards, they are all selectable, and selection in one card would be honored in all others. To the right of the statewide census tract map is the county heat chart. County heat chart. It has classes corresponding to the 5 IBR categories. The darkest purple represents the highest number of census tracts. Expectedly, the darkest shades are for LA County. The numbers represent the count of census tracts. For example, in LA County, 709 census tracts fall in the moderate high income predominance category. 267 census tracts fall in the substantial high income predominance category. To access information about an entire county, hold down the Control key and click all 5 IBR categories. For example, for Los Angeles County, to zoom to the selected county on the map, click the top of the census tract map, followed by the search icon with the plus sign inside it, and then click zoom to selection. The histogram below the 5 IBR categories relates to HPI scores showing a statewide mean value of 0. A positive HPI score shows that the geography in focus is healthy. while a negative HPI score shows that the geography that was filtered has an unhealthy environment. Below the HPI histogram is a table with census tract proportions of people in various race and ethnicity categories, starting from Latino on the far left, followed by white, and ending with other race and ethnicity groups on the far right. The horizontal extent of the light blue bars is proportional to the share of a given race and ethnicity in a census tract and represents horizontal scaling across the 8 race and ethnicity groups. Each row in the data table represents a census tract. To zoom to a single census tract, click a row on the ID column on the far left side. And follow the previously indicated steps on the statewide census tract map to zoom to the selected census tract. Back to here, zoom tools, zoom to selection. The data clock below the race and ethnicity table shows census tract percentages of persons who speak languages other than English by the 5 IBR classes. Again, the percentages are grouped into 3 to include tracts where A, less than 25% of the population spoke languages other than English, B, 25 to 50% of the population spoke language other than English, and C, about 50% of the population spoke language other than English. Similar to heat chart number 1, the darkest purple represents a category with the highest number of census tracts. At the statewide level, the highest count of census tracts, which is 1,074 census tracts, is for the collection of census tracts in the moderate income predominance group, where the percentage of persons speaking language other than English is 25 to 50%. To the right of the data clock is heat chart number 2, representing percentages of households with children under 18 that are headed by females with no spouse present. Once again, the darkest purple represents the category with the highest number of census tracts. At the statewide level, the highest count of census tracts, which is 1,296 census tracts, is for the collection of census tracts in the moderate income predominance group, whereas the percentage of households with children under 18 headed by females with no spouse present is 10 to 25%. The last card number 8, is the second reference table with 6 years worth of data on the California Strong Start Index, CASI. Visit the strongstart.org website for details about the construction of the index, which relates exclusively to newborn babies. The index scores the social and economic conditions babies are born into in 4 domains, with 3 points per domain for a total maximum of 12. A video link is provided below the Arkansas visualization. The table shows the scores for over 6 years, with each row representing a census tract. The last column represents the trend line. One of the biggest or best uses of IBR dashboard is the capability to have a regional picture of income inequality and compare one region to another region. For example, if we wanted to create a regional information for Northern California, you go out to the zoom tools, and then next to that is a selection tool. Clicking that provides a box select or lasso select feature. In this case, let's use the box select and select Northern California. All the visualization cards will now be about Northern California. The largest number of census tracts are in the moderate high income predominance group. Overall, Northern California falls in the unhealthy category with a negative HPI score. The majority of the population is white. Although there is a census tract where the proportion of Latinos is 75%, Census Tract 203. Similarly, if we wanted to compare Northern California to, let's say, the Bay Area, we can do so by clicking here and zoom into Bay Area counties and using the select tool, and this time we will use the lasso tool. Let's create a rough outline. Now the visualization is all about the Bay Area. As you can see, overall the Bay Area is healthy with HPI score of 0.4. And Alameda has the highest number of census tracts in the substantial high income predominance group. Actually, Santa Clara does, with a total of 198. In the Bay Area, the trend in the 6-year trend in Cassie is a mixed picture, but generally it's a downward trend. Finally, to create a card, just select a variable from the variable list. Let's say in this case we want to create a card for the HPI scores. Just drag and drop, and just like that you have a card for HPI scores. It's a histogram. To connect this histogram to all other cards, click the Enable Cross Filter feature. Now, these are census tracts that are in the healthiest categories, above 1. If we were to create a selection of census tracts with the highest HPI score, you can hold down the Control key, click this bar, and this bar, and this bar. And you will see that the healthiest census tracts are as expected, numerically, mostly in LA County, in San Diego County, Orange County, Riverside. This represents generally the overall size of counties. The overall size of counties determines the total number of census tracts.